Hello everyone, welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. We are in 2020 for a while now, and I think it's time to answer some crucial questions. What changed in 2019, and what were the main features added to the game? Well, you are about to find out. After 1 year of Fallout 76, a lot has changed in Appalachia. I've made a video last month where I went over the real state of the game, which included a lot of negative points, mostly bugs, cheats and hacks that have been plaguing the game for a very long time. Now, I decided to shift the perspective a little bit and focus on the positive side. What changed in Fallout 76 during 2019? I want to provide you the answer starting with this video. If you are a new player or if you are a returning one, you are probably unsure, unaware or even confused about all the features that have been added to the game over time with the previous two DLCs, Wild Appalachia and Nuclear Winter. There were dozens of new content features and hundreds of minor changes in over 15 patches. As you can imagine, I will present you only the major features that were introduced during 2019, just to give you a clear picture of what has changed and what you have potentially missed if you have gone on a break or haven't played that much since the early days. However, I'm going to do this in two separate videos. I was about to reach 40 minutes with just one, so yeah, I was kind of forced to split the content. Anyway, we really had a lot of new content last year, for those who believe otherwise. So let me show you all the major things that have been added to the base game and transformed it into what we currently know, the Fallout 76 pre-Wastelanders. I hope you enjoy what you're about to see. Let's move on with part 1. Almost exactly 1 year ago, we had the first new event since the game's release in November 2018. Do you remember it? The FASNACHT parade came live in March 2019 with lots of unique and rare masks that would later get massively duplicated and become rather common in-game. Anyway, this event introduced a third event category, seasonal events, only live for a limited period of time, normally 1 week. In this event, you had to protect festive robots and complete a series of tasks. At the end, you'd have to kill a legendary megaslot to conclude the event. You could get other exclusive rewards from the FASNACHT events, including camp decor items and a FASNACHT beret. We are most likely going to see it again this year in about 2 months. It will be in March once again. Hopefully. It didn't take long until the first new mission was added to the game with the Wild Appalachia DLC. Wasted on NUKASHINE came out as a relatively simple side mission that introduced the brewing and fermenting systems. I mean, there was a riddle to solve and everything, which was a bit difficult for me to do at the time, but nothing out of the world. Moreover, new houses were open in Morgantown for this quest, and even a new robot was added to the game, called Bev. He's a pretty funny guy, by the way. Some new drinks were added to the game, such as NUKASHINE itself, which has an unpredictable effect. After completing this mission, you get 2 plants to craft your brewing and fermenter benches at your camp or workshops. During Wasted on NUKASHINE, you will get to meet Bev and his underground brewing space. You can do a daily mission every day until you get all the beverages recipes in-game. They are divided into 2 mission types, and some of them require lots of ingredients to craft the beverage in question. You might get asked to test the effects of certain drinks as well, such as performing critical hits on enemies. It might take a while to get them all, and things can get tedious after a week or so, but new content is always refreshing, don't you think so? In April, we had the questline Lying Low starting at Venlo Taxidermy, a house in Lewisburg that opened exclusively for this new content. You could start this mission by interacting with the poster Sheepsquatch Ate My Brother, accessible through your atomic shop for free. and it's one of the most interesting missions in game, to be honest. There's lots of mystery and lore to unveil. The best part is that you don't know exactly what to expect. The tasks are basically a detective work thing, looking for things, clues, which lead to the next clue and so on. The mystery keeps on going. This is when we got introduced to the animal mounted heads too. You get some from completing the 4 missions part of this questline. Lying low, Baba, black sheep, the lowdown, a wolf in sheep's clothing. These are the 4. Ultimately, this last quest will lead you to a new location that is now home to one of the hardest public events in-game, Encrypted. Well, you probably know about this public event due to its extreme difficulty. I'd say this is the hardest event added to the game until date. You need at least 2 other players besides yourself to expose the imposter's ship squatch and take it down. I still remember my first attempt as if it were yesterday. I did it with a full squad and we failed terribly, but you get used to it once you understand how to keep your HP up there while being a pylon. Things get easier eventually. Now, Encrypted introduced a series of new items, such as the Fixer Recipe or Plan, a combat rifle which allows you to craft and roll Fixer legendaries at the Purveyor. Note that the Fixer is one of the strongest ranged weapons in terms of base attributes. We also got new costumes, such as the Imposter Ship Squatch set and the Ship Squatch Mascot set. The first one is definitely one of my most favorite sets in game. It's furry and tribalist, personal preference, I suppose. Another public event that went live around the same time was Free Range, which follows the Ship Squatch team. You get to meet the real Ship Squatch here, like in Encrypted. You basically need to escort 3 Brahmins into the nearby farm and then defeat the Cryptid at the end. There are reward tiers depending on how many Brahmins survive. There are also enemy waves while we escort Brahmins, and this event can pop up in 3 fixed locations, one in the forest area, one in the Savage Divide, and one in the mire. Fun fact, sometimes the event can spawn more than one Ship Squatch, and it can be a 3 stars legendary. Normally you'll just find one boss with 1 star though. That's the normal, let's put it that way. Free Range introduced tons of new weapons and mod plans for the Ship Squatch type of weapon. You can even create your own burning mace or staff, which looks really cool. There are over 20 plans to collect from this event. The same update allowed Ship Squatches to spawn at random event locations, which means you can randomly find them across the map now, not just during Free Range. In March, we also got introduced to the survival mode, a PvP-oriented type of server with different rules. Bethesda tried to create a fair PvP environment for everyone, with damage and weapon balances, fast travel restrictions, and increased rewards for player kills, and also harsh penalties for all types of deaths. Now, when survival mode was first released, you would lose an insane amount of caps when killed by a player, around 300 to 500 caps per death. Yep, it was really shocking. However, you'd get a 20% experience gain from basically any activity you would do. That was really helpful. Now, people would camp at train stations and chase the top 3 across the map for free caps. They would abuse a lot of things. It was like a mini jungle in the end. Also, we had extensive scoreboards with different tabs, which got later reworked several times. In fact, the entire mode got changed and reworked so much that after a while people started to lose interest, including myself. I used to log into survival just to do the weekly challenges, to be honest with you. I believe most Fallout 76 players did the exact same. The survival mode was never a wide loved feature, mostly because a lot of the player base dislikes PvP. Other stuff, the rewards weren't worth the risks, or found the combat mechanics unfair, such as combat rifles when hitting people. In the end, the lack of players ultimately led Bethesda to shut down the mode for good. That happened 6 months after the feature release in September 2019. The survival mode has something that was quite unique and actually useful: 3 stars and named legendary weapons. There were over 10 different named weapons, melee and ranged, which can only be obtained now through player trading. Anyway, I'm not going to say these weapons were super strong, the best ever in game. That's far from the truth, but some of them were pretty okay, like the Unstoppable Monster or the Action Hero. They were normally very easy to get, so they would be worth the trouble. They had some value, let's put it that way. You could either use them if they fitted your build, sell them for some nice caps, or keep them for later. Those who did save them have been making some small fortunes in game now, because they are extremely rare. No one knows if they will ever return as rewards to something else, so maybe it's best to keep it for now. It will be worth even more in the future. Alright, in April we got a new system that kinda mimics the photo mode. We got functional cameras added to the game with a new quest, the bucket list. This one was a pain in the ass to do. I still remember the frustration of server jumping about 50 times to find that tourist's body. I literally spent 3 hours or so trying to find it. Anyway, once you find the body, everything else is quite simple and quick to do. It's like a normal camera in real life in automatic mode. You can craft a zoom lens to get a closer view, just so you know. You can also use this camera to see dead enemy bodies' names to identify legendaries laying in the floor, for example. It's very useful. I do that all the time since your body locations are always individual. We also got new challenges for the functional camera, and some of them are quite interesting to say the least. Different than the usual. I found it refreshing at the time. Now, not so much. The BURROWS. It opened in April as well, so if you're not playing Fallout 76 since the release, you should know that the Harper's Ferry sewers were not always there. Once you entered the BURROWS, you could start a new side mission called Waste Management, which is a medium difficulty quest with a few tasks to do inside the tunnels. Now, you will meet dozens of feral ghouls inside, including a few legendary ones. Always welcome in my opinion. Which is probably the most challenging part of the entire quest, at least I think so. At the end, you will have to kill a bunch of high-level robots, and that's pretty much it. It's quite anticlimactic, that mission. When you're done with the quest, you can always return to this location to farm legendary items, of course, because this is one of the best spots to farm legendaries until date. It is at the top of my list for sure, and it should be part of yours as well. The Pioneer Scouts arrived to Appalachia in May, and they brought a lot of new stuff with them, including a brand new backpack system, new quests, a new badge system, and tons of faction-related challenges. It was crazy at the time because the requirements to get the backpack and then the mods were quite insane. The Order of the Tadpole is not a typical easy quest that you do in a few minutes, which made people extremely confused and frustrated about certain tasks. In fact, some of them were bugged, therefore impossible to solve. Moving on, completing this quest would grant you the ability to craft a standard backpack at an armor bench, from level 1 to level 50. It felt so satisfying to craft my backpack, probably because it was such a hard work. How did you feel when you craft yours? With the Pioneer Scouts and the Tadpole quest, we also got over 20 new challenges for Tadpole and OPPOSSUM badges, which you need to purchase items from the Pioneer Scouts vending machines at their camps, Camp Adams and the main camp in the Toxic Valley. Now, this includes backpack mods too, in case you don't know. However, some of these challenges were heavily bugged at the time when they first got released. I remember trying to do a few ones and getting completely stuck. not knowing what to do. Well, you can't go past bugs, that's the truth. The musician one, for example, you couldn't even play the instruments. I mean, you could play, but it didn't register for some reason. So you couldn't do that one. There were many others like this. Do you remember the steam pack diffusers you couldn't get? That's just a few examples. The Pioneer Scout update was significant. We also got a new event called CAMPFIRE Tales with 2 possible endings. It was interesting at first to explore and learn the mechanics, but when you do it 100 times, things get rather annoying, with Nia turning into a Wendigo and the Scott girl screaming no stop for a while. Or the billion bugs spawning no stop, that's also not any better. Either way, this event was crucial at the time in order to farm opossum badges. It had a slight chance to reward you 1 possum badge per event. In other words, it would save you a lot of effort from doing the quite difficult and buggy possum challenges. I got my backpack this way, just farming the hell out of CAMPFIRE Tales. Back in the days, you could just server jump and start the event yourself every hour. I do 2-3 events per hour. Now you can't do this anymore. Bethesda changed the public event system not too long ago, and now CAMPFIRE Tales is part of this public event pool, which randomly generates the active events. What a pity. Let's finally talk more in depth about the backpack system. So after completing the Order of the Tadpole, you can craft your standard backpack at any armor bench. The level 50 version will grant you plus 60 carry weight. With the possum badges you can upgrade it and unlock different bonuses. There are currently 5 different mods with the possum badges. Armor plated for increased physical defense, insulated for increased energy defense, lead lined for more radiation protection, high capacity for extra carry weight, which is what I'm using, and the refrigerator mod that decreases the spoil rate of foods up to 90%. Of course, they all have a debuff to balance things out. So in the end, the choice is yours. You should go for what fits your build the best. Later in May, we got yet another new location and event. ARKTOS FARMA went live with Project Paradise, another event with tier rewards, but this time things got serious. With 3 habitats not so close to each other, you need several people to properly achieve the habitat goals in a timely manner. Then you need to escort or protect the friendly creatures, and that can be a really tough job. They keep running away and tons of enemies will spawn trying to kill them. The last phase will spawn a level 100 Deathclaw, a Sheepsquatch or a Grafton monster, also not so easy to kill if you are not many there. Project Paradise can reward you with some very unique rewards, such as the Bear Arm plan or the Steam Pack Diffuser plan, but your performance has to be the very best to unlock the first tier. Plans for the new camps, Formula P and Formula Q, are also part of the event rewards. Plenty of changes for the first 5 months of 2019, don't you think so? Well, that's everything I'm going to present you for part 1, and as you surely saw already, it's more than enough. We are close to 20 minutes. A lot of content was added to Fallout 76, and I feel like most people don't have a real perception of that. Maybe because there were so many media scandals and hot discussions since ever, really. Even before the game got released, people were whining about no NPCs and all the bugs and so on. But a lot of good things happened too in this past year, and this video is proof of that. Which feature was your favorite from the listed points in this video? Let me know in the comment section, I will answer you, most likely. I'm working on the second part and it should go live in the following days, so stay tuned if you want to know more about another 70 major features that were added to the game before the end of 2019. I'm Marta Branco, thank you so much for watching and for supporting my work. If you're new, then you know what to do. Click on the subscribe button below for more exclusive Fallout 76 content. You can also support me even further by becoming a Patreon member for this channel. How? Well, check my Patreon page, the link is right below the video. I'm going to end the video here. Thank you once again. I will see you guys and girls very soon. Until then, take care, adios, bye bye!